Hey everybody, Kennis here. Hope you're doing great. Today I'm doing a review of this little but awesome practice amp by Mooer. This is the Silvereye 10, the Mooer Silvereye 10. And I gotta say, this is probably my favorite little practice amp that I've ever had. Let me tell you all about it right here. So I've been playing with the Mooer Silvereye 10 and I really like it for a number of reasons. And I want to go over those reasons for you. But before I do that, I want to talk about the purpose of an amp like this. Okay, sometimes when people do a review or they're demoing something, they're trying to put something in a context that it is not. So for example, this is not a stage amplifier. This isn't something that's going to be able to compete with the drummer. It's not something that's going to, you're going to put on stage and rock out to it. Even if you mic'd it, it's just not super powerful, and it's not supposed to be the most powerful amp there is. It's supposed to be a bedroom amp. It's a practice amp. For those functionalities of making it a practice amp, it is really good. So I've got a ton of amps. I've got Fender amps, I've got Vox amps, I've got just a bunch of amps, and I like all of them for different reasons. But I gotta say, even my nicest tube amps that I have, sometimes it's difficult to practice with them because you don't have the control of the volume that you want. It's hard to really get your tone, and if you're practicing with like an MP3 or something like that, and you're just trying to work through it, sometimes it can be honestly kind of difficult. Like, well, how do I play this on my stereo and then practice with it too, or I'm listening to it with my iPhone and I'm playing it through my amplifier, which is too loud. This solves all of those problems. Okay, so let me go through some of the functionality of it. On the back of it, it's got a power on switch. You just flip on. You can see the LEDs coming on there. And then once it's on the right side, you've got a toggle switch that does 3 different things. On the top, it's live. And I really like that setting. That has like an EQ enhancement. It kind of makes it sound more like a live amplifier, I guess. Then it's got bypass, which kind of levels out that. And then it's got this DBB, and I actually couldn't find in the manual, unless I'm missing it, what DBB stands for, but I think that it's a bass enhancement. So it gives you a little bit more bass chunkiness in there. Moving on here, it's got a Bluetooth functionality. So I've got my iPhone right here. I can hook an iPhone up to this, and I'll show you here in a second how to do that, and I'm going to play along with it so you can kind of hear the tone in the mix of a track. Then it's got an aux in case you don't have Bluetooth, you have something else that you're playing it. You can just plug a CD player or whatever, if anybody even still has CD players, into the aux, or if you have a phone that you just want to use the aux cord instead of Bluetooth. Then you've got master volume, bypass, or bass, treble, gain, and volume. Now, one of the reasons why I like this amp, as opposed to a lot of little practice amps, is this is very simple, and it's very similar to how I would expect I use this term not necessarily to degrade anything, but a real amp, like a tube amp. There's the knobs that I'm expecting them to react a certain way. Sometimes on like little practice amps and little amps, they don't react the same way that you would expect. Let me explain that. So on any given amp, you've got like your 2 sides. You've got your preamp side and your power amp side. And your preamp side, it's got this gain that's able to like simulate driving your tubes, and it's got your volume that simulates the power amp side. So it's the preamp and the power amp. And then you've got a master volume. So it's very easy to dial in your tone, because if you want like a grittier tone, I'm going to put this mic here in front here so I can capture some of the audio, try to get it out of the way, but hopefully this will capture the sound coming from there a little bit better than the lavalier microphone. But so on this side, so if I have like the gain turned up a good amount, again, I'm basically like, at 3 o'clock here, and then the master volume is at 12. It's got a decent amount of grit to that. But if I rolled off the gain, I might have to adjust some more things. A little bit of gain. I'm going to crank the volume, turn the gain down a little bit lower. Able to get a good, clean tone from this. So, I mean, just right there, it's pretty simple to, I dialed in 2 tones that I would have no problem using. I'm going to put this on the live setting because I like the EQ on that. In fact, let me just kind of play through that. I'm gonna put the EQ here at 12 o'clock. It doesn't bypass this EQ. It bypasses the EQ it's like a DSP EQ. So here's just regular. I'm gonna crank the master just a hair here. Okay, here it is. Sorry if my guitar is not completely in tune. Here's the live. It just kind of shapes that tone a little bit. Here's the DBB. Very good. Let me get a little bit of gain going here, and we'll see what that sounds like. Here's the bypass. And finally this DB. You can hear it's got a little bit more bass on that DBB. Let me do the same thing here with going in on the my bridge pickup. I was on the neck pickup just a second ago. Here's the bypass. And here's DBB. And the EQ, you know, it's just what you would think. I'm going to go back to the live setting. I'm going to crank the treble up just a little bit. It doesn't sound exactly like a tube amp because it's not a tube amp, but that's a very, very usable tone that I don't have to spend a lot of time dialing in. I'm not putting pedals through this. This is a practice amp. So I'm looking at this from the standpoint of, I got a song I need to learn. I'm gonna use this as a practice amp to learn it. And that's really where the functionality comes in super, super well, it's plug and play. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time. Just pick up your guitar, plug it in, and you're good to go. This is gonna be great for somebody that's perhaps a beginner guitar player that doesn't, you know, maybe they're overwhelmed by an amp that has all these different features. They just want to get in there and learn to play the guitar, or like a seasoned player that they don't want to deal every single time that they pick up a guitar with turning on their amp, letting it warm up. It's just right there. Also, it looks nice. It's a nice little amp. You know, this is probably a foot wide by maybe 6 inches tall, maybe 6 inches deep, 5 inches deep. It's not a super big amp. This is something that easily you could sit on your nightstand. You could just sit on a shelf somewhere and plug it in when you want to play. This has the wife acceptance factor right here. Okay, so the wife acceptance factor will not let me put my Hot Rod Deluxe in the bedroom, but she would have no problem letting me put this in the bedroom. So let me show you a couple things here too. It just easily hooks up to your phone for Bluetooth. So like right here, I've got a backing track that I made a couple years ago. It's playing on my phone right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go to settings here and go to Bluetooth and connect it to the Silvereye 10 on my iPhone. It's now connected. So now when I play it, it's coming through there. Now here's a couple things that I like about this Bluetooth thing, is I'm able to play with my track or whatever I'm playing with in the same speakers and the same thing that's happening. So like I'm not having to like balance two different pieces of equipment in order to play what I'm wanting to play. It's just super simple. It uses the volume of your Bluetooth device to control the volume of the track. So as I'm playing it, if I turn it down, I turn down the volume. If I turn it up, and then I'm able to, in here, use the master volume here to balance it out and mix it up. So let me just play a little bit of me playing to this track here. So that should give you an idea of kind of what it's like playing with it along with the track. And let me just kind of jam out just a little bit, and you can kind of hear just kind of by itself what it sounds like. So. Well, hopefully you like this demo of the Mooer Silvereye 10. I believe that they're going to be releasing this real soon, so keep your eyes open for this. It's a great little practice amp. I'm excited to keep this in my study or a place that I have where I can just pick up a guitar and play and practice anytime that I want. So anyway, Kennis Russell out. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in another video.